Hello there and welcome to Trope on a Rope, the show where we delve into Hollywood's toy chest and play with the puzzle pieces that have come to define cinema. Now, at this point, usually I'd go into like a separate sub-introduction that introduces the trope that we're going to talk about for the next 3 weeks-ish, depending how quick I am with the edit. Now, we chose this a couple of weeks ago, and this is trope from our trope list. This is trope number 2, I'm in, you son of a bitch. Films where like a team is brought together to do a job and so on and so forth. I would argue though, Cole.
Yeah.
Hello, by the way. I didn't introduce you properly.
Hi.
I would argue that we should change that. It doesn't really count.
What do you mean? Change it to what?
In this film, like, so we're talking about the Italian Job, 2003's Italian Job to be specific, with Marky Mark and Mos Def and Jason Statham.
Seth Green.
And Seth Green. More on him later. In those I'm in, you son of a bitch type films, like there's like a big montage where the group comes together, where they recruit everyone. I would argue in this one, the group kind of knows each other already.
And yeah, I believe it's after they've already done that job once together, and then they just reassemble basically.
I think that this film and next film, which is Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, those two count as the Revenge Heist.
Oh, they do. You're right, actually, yeah, because both of them has the guy who was part of the team. They fuck him over, and then they get revenge on him. Yeah, you're right. Okay, fair dues.
So the Italian Job, 2003. I've got my little blurb for this. The Italian Job follows Marky Mark's Charlie, hailed as one of the best heist crew leaders in the game today. A man who sees and understands the big picture, plans for every possibility, every eventuality, but then completely bollockses up 2 of the 3 heists that are in this film, leading to 1 death, the near murder of everyone, hypothermia, losing a shit ton of gold through poor human resource management, losing a shit ton more to mobsters, and a broken hand.
Having said that, he who laughs last. Laughs. God damn it!
He who badly quotes first.
He who laughs last, laughs loudest. And they do win in the end. Just that, you know what I'm trying to say? Imagine I said that and then laugh in hilarity. Correct.
Okay, cool. So this film has Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, which are not that bad, to be fair. They're both the same, actually. Rotten Tomatoes is 70%. IMDb is 7 out of 10.
That's exactly the same.
Yes, that is. What were your initial thoughts about this film? Like rewatching it now, and like when it first came out.
When I first heard about it, my first thought was, "How dare you? I'm an Englishman, and you're gonna walk all over the Italian Job with an American version. How dare you?" But having said that, watching it, it's one of those really nicely made. It has that kind of Ocean's 11 feel with the sliding anime style like boxes in it where they showed it people's eyes and whatever.
Yeah,
it has a really good soundtrack.
Yeah,
you've got to have a good soundtrack. I do like the actors. You can't fault Ed Norton in pretty much anything he does.
Yeah. It's an asterisk. We'll come back to Ed Norton towards the end.
Mos Def, I didn't even know he was an actor before I saw this, but he was good. Handsome Rob. Where can you get? You can't go wrong with Jason Statham. What's his name? Don Glover? No, Don Glover. You're too old for this shit.
Donald Sutherland.
He's he wasn't in it for long, but he's Donald Sutherland. Can't go wrong. And I don't think you like Seth Green, but I'll be honest with you. I have a big soft spot for Seth Green. I really like him ever since Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Well, my initial thoughts for this are, I agree with you. I remember when this film was first announced, and maybe because we do have listeners in America and in Japan as well. Maybe you don't understand that this was blasphemy when it was first announced.
Yeah,
like the Italian Job, the original, the 1969 Michael Caine one, is like one of those films that they play over the Christmas holidays. If you search for it now, it's probably on TV in the next week somewhere on one of the digital channels somewhere.
The landmark.
Yeah, it is. It's a cultural cornerstone of the UK. So the idea that You would make a remake. Blasphemy. No. An American remake.
Yeah, even more so.
God, no. Mark Wahlberg?
Marky Mark?
No.
From, was that was it like a New Kids on the Block, was it?
I don't know what he was in. What was he in? Oh, let's Google that quickly.
Was this before Marky Mark suddenly became like a really good actor? When you just assumed it was just, or was it, had he already kind of established himself at this point?
He had been in several films by that point, but Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, by the way.
Okay.
He had been in a few films. He'd been in Boogie Nights.
Sorry, that and the Funky Bunch is just too good of a name to pass. We need to give that a moment's silence.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Yeah, in the early 2000s, the time when this film was made, he'd just been in Boogie Nights at the end of the 90s. Then he was in Perfect Storm and Planet of the Apes, and then The Italian Job.
See, so all of those first three movies weren't like. I mean, I think there's a big following for Boogie Nights, but Planet of the Apes was exactly amazing. And even Perfect Storm wasn't very good as far as it was. That George Clooney Perfect Storm.
Yes.
Yeah, that movie wasn't that good either. So this is probably his first genuinely like really good movie where he's actually the lead role as well. What I was going to say as well is before like Hollywood had this massive trend of remaking everything. Like, so this is one of the first remake movies that started that trend. They did such a good job of it that everyone was like, oh, people like remakes.
Well, saying that, like his film before that was Planet of the Apes, the one that makes absolutely no sense towards the end. And yeah, no, that didn't quite work out.
As far as you recall, that movie never happened.
I'm sorry, I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about. But yeah, no, I remember like everyone was against this film when it had everyone against it when it came out, and then it came out and it's all right.
I thought it was really well made. It does what it says on the tin. It's a brilliant, it's well made movie, well acted. I like all of the characters.
You say it does what it says on the tin.
Okay, well, that's actually
like it's called The Italian Job, and it's mostly set in LA.
Okay, yeah. I
literally doesn't.
I realized I aired there slightly. You're right. It does everything except what it says on the tin.
Watching it now, some of it ages quite badly.
Such as?
Mostly, I'm talking about Seth Green's character Lyle is
Napster.
Yeah, Napster. The Napster reference I think was out of date when the film came out.
The movie.
Yeah,
but it's supposed to be because he's talking about something that happened in the past anyway. That's kind of the joke. He's still going on about it.
But the idea that Napster itself is going well at the time.
Okay, well, I don't think they say Napster's going well. It's just like Napster's gone, and yet he's still going on about it.
Even when he takes like going super far ahead, when he's like taking over the traffic control center, he says, "I'm the real Napster." Like everyone in that control room is just looking at each other, going, "Oh shit, remember Napster?"
Oh, what the fuck is Napster?
Like this film is 20 years old, so I assume I'm safe by now. But like I remember the fact that I stole this film off the internet in 2003 with LimeWire.
Yeah.
Because Napster wasn't a thing anymore.
And I think you gave it to me in a hard drive because I have never ever stolen anything off the internet ever.
Also, right, let's talk about Lyle, which is Seth Green's character. He does not age well.
Why?
He's such a skeevy cunt.
Oh, I mean, there's that. But I prefer to say he's cheeky.
No. He's a sex criminal waiting to happen. Like for fuck's.
Yeah, because he's probably never had sex. The poor guy.
You know that girl at the end, who is Kelly Brook, by the way.
Yeah, she's extremely attractive.
So she dies, right?
Sorry, what? It's only the clothes come off, not her skin. Jesus Christ.
He stands her in front of a stereo system that is so loud it blows women's clothes off. Like she's standing right in front of it, and she does scream off camera. She's dead, right? Her brain has liquefied, her eardrums have popped, her eyeballs have fallen out of her face, and she's had a fucking hemorrhage and is like shaking naked on the floor.
No, it's because she doesn't have buttons, just poppers, so it comes off easily.
Yeah, but her head has turned to jelly.
Yeah, but that's what it was anyway. Sorry, Kelly Brook. That's a joke. I don't mean it. Please marry me.
But yes, no, he killed a woman in that scene. That's all I'm saying. He killed a woman. Let's talk about the team then. Right, so we got our team. Right, we got Charlie, which is Wahlberg. He makes the plans. He's the plan. Right, this is the thing. Even though we're doing the heist thing, we still have to evaluate the effectiveness of the team. Who does what on the team, and how well do they do it? Yeah.
Yep.
So we got Charlie. He makes the plans. That's Wahlberg. Yeah.
Let's work on a percentage ratio of success.
Of success. Right, he's on a third at the moment, so he's got 33.3.
And then he retired.
Yeah. We got John Donald Sutherland. He's the safe cracker. Okay, doesn't do well. He does well at his job, but then he gets murked a little bit later on, and then gets then his daughter Charlize Theron takes over. Got handsome Rob, who is
Handsome
Jason Statham.
Oh,
he's the car guy, getaway driver,
the wheelman.
The wheelman. Thank you. That's a better term. There's Lyle / Napster, who's the techie. Left ear, Mos Def. That's the explosives expert.
I thought it was a genius casting for that one. I have to say. Continue.
Just because of his name, Mos Def.
Yeah, mostly deaf.
There's Wrench later on in the later heist, who is the car mechanic. And then there's Steve, who's Edward Norton, whose skill is he knows 2 other guys.
No, in the first side, he basically does everything. He's the, I don't know, what would you call him? He's the infiltrator.
He goes into an empty room and paints a square on the ceiling.
Squares are hard.
Mos Def does it from a boat underneath. All right, let's talk about the film itself, right? So you got the opening titles, and I don't know if you noticed this. If you watch the opening titles, it shows like the plans for the heist. Actually makes sense if you watch it back again.
Oh, really?
It just tells you what's going to happen.
Huh. I did not notice that. I just thought it was random pictures of plants.
Yeah, so it's like first look, it's intelligible, but yeah, the second one, it's like, okay, this is the decoy route. This is good. The safe is going to go through here, and blah 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 blah. Spells it all out.
Can I ask, in the Italian job, the one in Venice, is it Marky Mark who plans that, or is it Sutherland?
It's Marky Mark because Donald Sutherland says it later.
Okay, so technically that was a success, except for the last 5 minutes where Donald Sutherland gets shot.
All right, stick a pin in that. I'll circle back to whether or not that's a success or not, and whether or not it's Mark Wahlberg's fault. Spoiler alert: I think it is.
Foreshadowing of the most obvious variety.
Right, so let's do this. The job itself in Venice is steal a safe. Yeah, the safe is full of gold bullion from dudes in a room who are watching football.
So it wasn't empty. Infiltrator was successful.
What does everyone within the crew do during the planning and during the actual heist itself? Like, there's a job for everyone during the planning. Like, they have to use the explosives using the explosives, the contents of the explosives as a paint to paint onto something. Nice, like that.
That was clever.
So Mos Def, you've earned your keep. They have 3D plans of the building so that they know where to do the square explosives. Well done, Lyle, you little creep.
Leave Seth Green alone.
Jason Statham does transporter on a boat. Well done, Jason Statham. You've earned your keep. Dude gets the opens the safe. Well done, Donald Sutherland. Charlie plans it, and yeah, okay, Steve. Well done. You did know 2 dudes.
It wasn't the plan though. It was a different plan. A plan of betrayal.
Here's my argument. Steve wasn't needed at all.
I mean, yeah, before getting there, he was needed, but yeah, he could have stayed at home afterwards.
No, I would say that he wasn't needed at all for the plan at all.
Oh, you mean sorry, Steve? I was thinking Charlie, Marky Mark. Sorry.
No, Edward Norton, for people following at home who can't remember whose name is what. Edward Norton wasn't needed on this plan at all.
He was. He did.
No, he wasn't. What does he do?
He does the explosives above the floor.
He paints a square on the ceiling. One of the others could have done it. Charlie, Marky Mark was not needed on the boat underneath, apart from like manpower of unloading gold from the safe into those little subs that they have. They have little subs, right?
Well, they're those little things they hold on to. So he was needed. because they like it's time contingent. So the faster you can unload the gold, the better.
So under the water, here's my thing. Under the water, you could have had Donald Sutherland and Mos Def to help with unloading the safe.
True.
In their plan, they had Charlie as well underwater, so they had 3 people. My argument is that you could have taken Charlie out of there and put him upstairs.
And then Steve could have stayed at home.
And Steve could have not existed. The garbage men thing, just have Lyle do it. Lyle wasn't needed on the boat with Jason Statham.
No, he wasn't needed. He just got the plans, right?
He could have just driven one of the boats and maybe known one other person if you needed to. You didn't need Steve at all. Plus, Steve, from a human resources, like if Steve came in, this is Edward Norton. If Edward Norton, playing it the way that he was, came into like a job interview, you'd be like, "No, you're sketchy. You're going to steal, aren't you?"
Yeah, he did seem dodgy on every single conversation where he just rolled his eyes and went, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" and that mustache.
Yes, the mustache. Thank you. I have written mustache. So yeah, my argument is that Edward Norton's character, Steve, was not needed. What he did during the actual heist could have been done by anyone else. What he brought to the heist was just 2 other people with boats, which other people could have done on the team. And he has, brackets, mustache that looks sketchy as fuck. Didn't need him. So, Marky Mark, it's your fault. Poor human resource management.
Yeah, it also takes away a portion of their earnings if they're successful.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Like, and Steve doesn't even know what he wants the gold for anyway.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't know. Never thought of it. Anyway, the job itself is successful. The way he plans it. And then they have a big toast, and he's like, "Well done." And he says a bunch of stuff that I quoted in the intro. It's like, "Oh, you saw it from every angle, like planned for every possibility, except for this sketchy guy who's standing next to us."
But I mean, that guy Steve was their friend. Well, I mean, co-worker, I guess. Yeah, yeah. I suppose you're right though. He is pretty sketchy.
Sketchy as fuck. They drive off in a bus, which I think is the minibus. I think is a little bit of a nod to the original.
Kick back to the original. They even have it teeter on the bridge for a second before it falls in.
Just for a second, yeah. And all right, this is where Jason Statham lets the team down a little bit. Because Edward Norton inevitably fucking double crosses them. He shoots John. They say, "All right, handsome Rob, go, get us out of here," and he just immediately biffs it over the edge and into the water.
Yeah, yeah, true. So far, yeah, Jason Statham is second. Well, you got Steve, who's basically irrelevant and a betrayer, so he's probably number 1 worst. Then you got Charlie, who fucked up the plan. Then you've got Jason Statham, who decided to drive into a river.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Lyle and Mos Def definitely ahead at the moment with 100% perfection.
Yeah, okay, keep that tally going, and we'll see what's going. Because I think I think I know who comes out clean on this.
So do I.
They're hiding in the van underneath. Like John is not John. Edward Norton and his goons are shooting into the water as they hide in the. I love the fact that they do have all the way through. They do have the tools that they use to survive. Like they have the air equipment in the van so that they can stay underwater from the job before.
Yeah. The only thing is that I don't understand why Steve doesn't realize that.
Yeah, good point. Also, they're like hiding in the van, in the doorway of the van underwater, and they're like, "Ooh, wait until he fucks off." Then it cuts to above this water, and then Donald Sutherland's body floats to the surface.
Yep.
Were they just holding on to it in the van, and they're like, "Now let him go," and push him out?
I just that's what I assumed when I watched it. I was like, "Oh, he's not going away. Doesn't trust. Oh, kick the dead guy out. Fuck him."
Right. So that's the Italian job. Cut to 1 year later. They found Steve. He lives in LA, and all the things that they wanted to spend the money on, like he's just got one of each.
Yeah, because he has no imagination.
Marky Mark goes to Stella, who is Donald Sutherland's daughter. She's a safecracker as well, but like a legitimate one. She works for like she consults with the FBI and stuff like that.
She's a good girl.
He goes to her to recruit her. She tells him immediately to fuck off, and then almost as immediately changes her mind and says that she's in. Right?
Yes, I want to see the guy who's killed my father. What he looks like when I steal his gold, something like that.
I had an idea about this as I was writing this note yesterday. Would it have been better if it was the other way round?
What if the daughter had died?
No. If Charlize Theron approaches Marky Mark and says, I found him. He lives in, she wants revenge.
Yeah.
She's found him. He lives in LA, trying to get Marky Mark and his crew to come back. Like they've moved on.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do a job because what they say repeatedly through it don't get emotional or don't bring emotion to it or something like that. And initially he's like, no, I don't want to get involved because, you know, emotion and stuff like that can go sideways. And then immediately changes his mind because he has a chat with like Jason Statham or something.
I don't know if it would have been better, but it would have made more sense than Charlize Theron just randomly changing her mind after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you'd assume that the one person who wants the revenge the most would be the daughter, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's really ashamed that her father was a criminal in the first place, and that's why she thinks that he got dead. So she probably doesn't. That's why she doesn't want to do anything illegal, right?
Mark introduces Stella, who drives too fast, to the crew, and it has like a little bit of backstory for everyone, just a little tiny bit for each person. I'm going to argue, Handsome Rob is way too famous to be involved in any of this.
That's a very fucking good point. I never thought about that. He's been live on TV with his little getaway drive, right?
But for listeners who are unaware, this is his backstory is he had like the longest police chase in history. Like he's actually served time, like he was on television.
And he had like hundreds and hundreds of love letters.
Yeah, he's too famous to be being involved in this.
I never thought about that. That's a pretty fucking good point.
So they come up with their plan to get the money back from Steve, the gold back from Steve. The basic plan idea is get from Steve's house to Union Station and then get on a train and then fuck off from there. The problems with this are the traffic takes fucking ages to get there. They try. It takes like, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour, I think he says.
Yeah.
So that's the first part. There's 3 problems, actually. The traffic, it takes ages to get there. They don't know where in Steve's house the gold is.
Yep.
And problem number 3, gold is fucking heavy.
Yeah.
The answers to these, right, I've written these down. What do you think of their answers to this? The traffic, their plan for the traffic is Lyle breaks into the traffic control system so that he can change the lights.
It works. But
yeah,
it works and he's pretty good at it. So
yeah, good. I'll accept that. Good idea. Where in the house is the gold? Stella, Charlize Theron, she poses as an internet technician, infiltrates the house, 3D scans it.
I only have one question about it. Why did they choose Stella, the one who's most likely to lose her shit and beat the crap out of him on site?
Because he knows who everyone else is.
Oh yeah, of course.
Although
still that is a bit dangerous.
It is a little bit. That girl, Becky, that they steal the uniform from, they could have just hidden a camera on her uniform and just sent her to the place.
She never would have checked the closet where the safe was.
Good point. I'll give you that. Okay, so we're happy with that. Apart from the sketchy 3D scanning technology, I'll give them that.
Yeah, and it's a bit dangerous sending in the person with the biggest grudge against them, but, you know, she's a professional. She handles herself. So, fair dues.
Yeah, she does all right. So, good, we'll give... So, point 1, good. Point 2, yeah, okay, we'll give you that, good. Problem 3, gold is fucking heavy. Their plan, use cars. Good.
Minis,
okay. Their plan is drive them inside the house. I'm calling this fucking bullshit.
I was about to call the same thing. But again, good job, Lyle, for measuring things.
Right. Okay. Like I did check the original 1969 version to see what they did with the minis in that one. Yes, they kind of drive them indoors, but it's through like shopping malls, which are quite wide.
Yeah, and like A museum or something.
So I'll give them that. But their plan is to drive it through this guy's house.
The hallways.
The hallways are quite wide, they say, right? Wide enough for a Mini. Just. That's the important thing. Fucking just. They do that obstacle course and they cut it together with like the 3D scan of the building. You notice when the car does the corner, it cuts to the 3D model and it just spins like that on a dime.
Impossible.
It's like you can't do that in a real car.
Well, I mean, handsome Rob can.
No, I'm calling bullshit. You can't do that. You wouldn't be able to do the corners. You can't turn the corners in that. Everything's too close. It would be impossible. You get caught in the middle.
You get wedged. You don't get wedged or you smash through a wall.
You'd be doing that thing from Austin Powers where he tries to do a Yui in a tunnel.
That's the 79-point turn.
Yeah. It's dumb. The idea is fucking dumb, all right?
Whose idea was that one, Jeff?
That was on Marky Mark, wasn't it? That was his idea.
It was on Marky Mark, yeah. But who made it? Who made it possible? Was it possibly Lyle with the measurements?
Idiots, all of them. Like it nearly lost me with this. If they'd gone through with this, I would have been like, "No, I'm out."
So fortunately, fate smiled upon them, and luckily, yeah, because like even when Becky, sorry, in disguise as Becky is there, he asks her out for dinner or something, right? She's really hitting them. And that saves their asses, the fact that they go to dinner, because it scares the crap out of him, and then he decides to move his gold. So that should have just been part of the plan.
It's not the reason why they abandoned the plan, though. They abandoned the plan because there was a party next door and they couldn't blow the gates.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about that.
But the plan with the minis and driving the minis through the house, no matter how fucking stupid it is that they couldn't like do corners and stuff like that, and driving through the house with three minis back to back would probably be from his front door to where the safe was anyway.
These aren't even the classic minis. These are the souped up ones that are a lot wider.
Yeah, like the modern day ones, which are roughly the size of a normal car. I know because I've got one. All of this is academic though, because every single door, entrance, and gateway into the house that they show is the size of a normal door.
I didn't realize that.
You can't get them in the building in the first place.
Fucking hell. All right. Okay. I grant you. Marky Mark fails again.
All his hallways inside the house, yeah, wide enough for a car, but all the doors to his house are the actual size of a door.
Sure. So literally impossible as well as theoretically impossible.
But yeah, no, they biff it anyway because there's a party next door and they can't blow the gates up. So then she has to go on that date.
That by the way is not Mostef's fault, so he still has a perfect record.
He does have a perfect record. Well done, yes.
as does Lyle, by the way, and also Stella. So far, in fact, Stella actually gets bonus points because she accidentally makes the backup plan that saves.
Yeah, she goes through with the backup plan, isn't it? Which is go to the very fucking creepy date with Edward, you creepy ass bitch, Norton.
Yes. Please hang off my handlebar mustache, Norton.
So they stand down, Stella goes to the date, and during the date she says John's catchphrase, which he said during the thing, which I didn't watch it back, but I think from memory it is I trust everyone.
I trust everyone, just not the devil that hides on their back or something like that. Which is not the devil on their shoulder or something. The devil on their shoulder, whatever. Or devil within them.
The devil within. It's the devil in them I don't trust. Which I think it is the devil that's on their back or something.
Or the devil that's sitting on their shoulder.
Anyway, that gives her away. He immediately goes, "Oh, I know you," and then Charlie turns up and punches him in the face.
So that's Charlize Theron's first minus point. She kind of fucks that little bit up there a little bit.
Side quest is worth a side note of what Steve's doing on the side. Steve's trying to sell the gold to like a broker who's part of the Ukrainian mob.
who just happens to be like, isn't that who they like stole the gold from?
Very possibly. This thing, he talks way too much, and at some point he IDs where the things are, and so Steve kills him. Like they don't say that they stole the gold from him because they'd noticed straight away, right? That it was, hey, you're selling us our gold. He just IDs where it's from.
It's because it's and because he kills the guy, and it's he's part of the family, so they're slightly peeved.
All he does is he IDs where it's from. There's no real reason to kill him.
No, there wasn't.
So Steve completely biffs it on that. There's no fucking reason why he would have done that.
I mean, to be fair to Steve on that one, like, I guess. No, I can't think of it. I mean, being extra careful, hiding any kind of loose ends, but at the same time, also opening yourself up to a world of pain from the Armenian mob.
Ukrainian.
Even worse.
Ukrainian. You don't mess with Mother Nature. What's the big guy say? You don't mess with Mother Nature, mother-in-laws, and mother effing Ukrainians. So yeah, all he does is, yeah, you're right. All it does is like give him problems. So after they show their hands that they're gonna steal stuff from. Also, by the way, you know, I didn't write this note, but I've just remembered it. You know when they're doing surveillance on Steve's house from the van?
Yeah, when she's inside.
Well, even before that, they're just sat in a van that's opposite his house.
Okay.
It's like super obvious that they're there. It's not hidden down the road.
Yeah, they don't even have blacked out windows.
They don't have blacked out windows. It's just like a van opposite his house. Even later when they're in the minis, the very, very identifiable minis when the armored trucks turn up, it's just they're like 3 feet from his gate. They just watch him go in.
Yeah, Steve basically fucks up throughout the only thing he does well in this movie, Steve, is painting the square.
All he does is paint a square and no two guys.
And no two guys. But to be fair to her, it's a fucking good square.
The next day, the problem, Steve's moving out the gold today. He's got spooked. He's fucking off. Their solution to this, like they do this same day. Like it's already daylight when they go, oh yeah, fuck it, we'll just rob him today then. Is copy the Italian job, what they did in Italy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, almost, yeah. It was a successful plan. The successful plan so far.
They copied the blowing a hole in the floor, the size of the thing that you're trying to steal. Okay.
Cracking the safe, putting it onto transport and fucking off.
Good. Use multiple escape cars. Good. And use the traffic diversion from your original plan. Good. Good plan, the second one.
Yeah. Solid plan. But also, I thought I quite like the identifying. I mean, this is another place where Steve fucked up royally.
Yeah.
Like identifying the low riding truck as the one that has the gold.
Right.
Like idea number one. Oh well, we'll use multiple trucks. That'll throw them off. Good idea.
Yeah.
And then we'll leave 2 of them empty so that it's really obvious which one has the gold. Not such a good idea.
I did also write this note. Steve uses 3 trucks, 1 with gold and 2 decoys. If he had filled all 3 trucks
with something, or with equal amounts,
at their plan was based on only they would be able to get 1 of them, and then he's still got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Or they'll be running around going, we don't know which one's got which one because we can't do the low ride check thing anymore because they're all the same.
Like the worst thing that would have happened if he did easy, like equal amounts in each truck, is that he would have lost a third of his gold. He still got 2/3 of it.
Yeah,
he'd be slightly peeved, but I think he'd get over it quite quickly.
Yeah, and he'd be off and he'd be out. So no, absolute idiot. He should have used the 3 cars.
But barring that, he's a greedy arsehole. So he wanted to keep all of the gold. Fair enough. Okay, why not load the other 2 trucks with an equal weight or something? We'll lower the suspension.
Yeah, exactly. Fill it with TVs or something, or fill with the suspension. So yeah, these are the curveballs that are thrown in their way. Like 1, it's on the same day that they plan to do this. He uses 3 trucks. He's watching in a helicopter. Not much of a curveball. They knew that he would do that. And he changes the safe.
Yeah, because they got the picture of the safe. That's what they're all confident about. That was a good idea.
I would argue, Wrench Wrench, the guy Wrench, the mechanic who does the cars. I like him.
Yeah, he's always.
Don't want to take that away from him. I want him to have his cut as well because he did work on the cars.
Yeah, good work on the cars.
I also like the fact that when he does introduce the cars, I took all this weight out of the cars. If you look on the shelf, there are 3 of everything.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
It's not just random props.
Random props?
It's not random props.
I hate those props.
But I'm all for him getting a cut, but I don't think he was needed in the actual heist itself.
No, I don't think he was needed in the end. He's done his job.
Yeah, give him his cut, walk away. I think in the truck up at the top, the Pepsi Max truck outside the Chinese theater.
Yeah,
I would argue that should have been Mos Def.
I would agree with you on that. I was about to say a thing that it's demolition. Yeah. That's his job.
Because
and what at this point, what was Mos Def doing?
He was just in Jason Statham's car.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now, and he's in Jason Statham's car. So
yeah, because there's the bit like Mos Def's job is the explosive stuff. He gets to set it off, but Wrench gets to walk away cool from an explosion.
And I'm going to give a big minus point to Mos Def for not taking that chance.
No, I think it's Mark Wahlberg's fault. Mos Def's not. It's not Mos Def's fault.
No, he should have known. He should have known that he gets to walk away cool from an explosion. He should have argued his case.
Jason Statham's role in this, I didn't write this down, but I was just thinking about it. Jason Statham's role in this is like he's the driver, but they all drive. So his thing is lessened a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, he is clearly the most skilled driver, but yeah, they do have 2 other drivers now.
So they steal the gold by blowing a hole through the street, and the truck falls into the subway. They nick it from there.
Actually, I will also mention one more thing about the driving, because I've just seen it on the screen. Not only is Jason Statham one of the 3 drivers as opposed to the wheelman, but Wahlberg's car is in the lead. It's the first car.
Yeah, Statham's on rear.
He's right at the fucking back.
They steal the gold and they all escape except for Marky Mark, because Norton goes after him specifically. How does he know from a helicopter from the sky who's in what car?
Well, it's fairly obvious that Marky Mark's favorite color is red.
Isn't Marky Mark in the blue one?
Nope. Check the video.
He's right. He's in the blue one, right?
I can only see the inside of the car. I know that Jason Statham's in the white one.
Yeah, Charlize Theron's in the red one because her normal car is a red Mini.
Shut up.
And Marky Mark's in the blue one.
It's really hard to scroll to exactly where you want on fucking YouTube, isn't it? I know the inside is grey. Inside of Charlize Theron's is grey as well. He is in the blue one. You cunt. Sorry. Let's delete that word.
They get away with it until he gets cornered by the helicopter. The helicopter, what did you think of the bit with the helicopter, where the helicopter goes under the underpass and cuts him off?
He could have just driven through the helicopter, torn it apart.
I thought the helicopter bit was a little bit over the top. That helicopter pilot would have turned that down. He would have said, no, I'm not doing that.
It's a lot of gold.
Yeah, is the helicopter pilot getting a cut of that? I don't think he is.
And why the fuck is he working for him?
I think he's just like he's just hired a helicopter for the afternoon.
No, he must know. He must be getting a cut. There's no way he'd be doing this dangerous shit for like $10 an hour.
Exactly. No, if he's just hired a helicopter guy for the afternoon, yeah, he's just going to fly around above stuff. But yeah, no, you'd have to give him a cut to get him to go under underpass. That's how fucking dangerous is it?
And like you'll notice that Steve's offering cuts of gold to everyone. Please don't kill me. Have half of my gold. He doesn't even offers it to Wrench, doesn't he? Tries to buy Wrench at some point.
Oh yeah, right at the end. Yeah, he tries with. So yeah, everyone gets away. They get on the train, and then Steve turns up at the train. He tries to offer Wrench money to get on the train, which he does. But that's part of the plan, you see, because now he's stuck on the train, and now the Ukrainians have turned up. Booyah!
And also, fair play, Wrench. You're a good guy.
Yeah, we thought you'd turned, but no, all part of the plan. And the Ukrainians drag Steve off. as he starts to whimper to what I assume is a cruel and painful death.
Well, he does describe it. He wants to, he wants to possibly hire him for a job because he's going to introduce him to their machinery.
Yeah, no. So he's dead, isn't he? Not today, and possibly not tomorrow, but in a couple, but soon.
And in the meantime, it'd just be a little bit painful.
So yeah, that's the film as a whole. Is there anything else that we haven't mentioned before we go into some behind the scenes stuff?
I do believe that the ranking of awesomeness of abilities.
Oh yes.
Number one, is Lyle.
You've done this on purpose.
I have indeed. Now, if Mos Def hadn't chosen to walk away from that explosion, it would be an equal number one for them both.
All right, okay.
But he didn't take that opportunity, so he comes into a number two, followed shortly by actually technically Wrench.
Wrench does his job, yeah.
Wrench and Lyle number one, Mos Def number two, Charlize Theron number three.
Hurts my heart. Okay, yeah.
I can't decide between Marky Mark or Donald Sutherland which one gets the last place because one of them is still alive.
You haven't mentioned Statham yet.
Oh shit, yeah. Handsome Rob. Well, he doesn't really fuck up, but he does. He drove off a bridge.
He does. Yes, he drove off a bridge. Yes. Yeah, in the bin.
In fact, he started the entire problem.
Yeah.
Just drive around the car, mate.
Yeah. And then Marky Mark's at the bottom.
Yeah, I think Jason Statham, then Marky. It's either Marky Mark or Donald Sutherland, only because Donald Sutherland died. He didn't fuck up his job other than the fact that he got shot and died. Although he was a very successful decoy.
Everything is, in death, he did redeem points. Marky Mark I'd put at the bottom because he's, yeah. Fucking Lyle is number one. You should have done this film.
And even his plan to blow off a girl's clothes is successful.
At murdering her.
You only assume that she was off screen. She might just be deaf.
They can put her liquefied remains in the back of the Mini.
Answer the question: did her clothes come off?
I assume they don't really show it. I just assume that she died.
But you do see a big fucking grin on his face. I don't think he'd be grinning if she exploded.
You don't know. He's a sick fuck.
Apparently, if he grins at that, he would be. But if she's dead, then okay, Mos Def number one. If she's not dead and just merely naked, then fucking he's definitely number one.
All right, anyway. All right. What do you know about do you know anything about the making of this film?
They used cameras.
That's the level that I was hoping for.
Okay.
It's quite good. There's quite a lot to say about this film, actually. Right. So links to the original, right? The original film. It's mostly in name only, right? It seems to be. Paramount wanted a remake, so they tasked writers specifically to make it. The writers at the time had not seen the original.
Oh, really?
They watched it once on purpose because they didn't want to just copy it rote scene for scene. They just wanted it to be inspired by rather than a copy of.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's got the bus. It's got Charlie. What's his name? Marky Mark's character name is the same as Michael Caine's.
Yeah.
The film is actually playing in the background of one of the scenes.
Really?
Yes.
I did not see that.
I think it's on Steve's TV before it breaks.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like little things like that in movies. That's awesome.
There's the bus at the beginning. The idea of it being gold bars.
Yeah, the bus teetering on the edge of something. Although it does crash instead of just cliffhangering. But
and also the idea of using a traffic jam as part of the heist.
And the 3 minis.
That's the big thing. The minis. The minis are the cornerstone of this.
But I mean, even from the original, that was the epic thing from there. Everyone remembers that about it. The 3 minis, red, blue, and white.
Charlize Theron's car, her personal car, not the one that she uses for the heist, is an old style mini that's similar to the ones that were used in the films.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
The original film. The models used for the actual heist, though, are the updated, redesigned BMW Minis when BMW bought Mini out. Equally controversial at the time, especially in Britain. The new design didn't go down well.
Yeah, no, everyone for this movie, especially, everyone kind of wanted to see the original Minis, but not a big problem.
But their appearance in this movie actually helped sales and change like the mood and reception to the new design of Mini, and they actually had an uptick of sales after this.
Okay.
During the filming, they used 32 Mini Coopers.
Really? Well, they kept trashing them.
Well, yeah, and they had like different builds for different purposes and stuff like that. Like they had a couple of stuff.
Oh, I see.
The actors did most of the driving.
Yeah.
They actually sent them away to camp. And apparently they came up to Charlize Theron and said, you should go to camp a little bit early and do a little bit more training because,
Well, because she's a girl or because she can't drive very well?
Because of the girl thing.
Because she's a girl and therefore, oh, Jesus.
And therefore. But she fucking aced all of it, apparently. And she turned out to be the best driver.
Was Hanson Rob the second best driver by any chance?
I have no idea. I assume so because he's always in those driving movies. Moss definitely did the most, the most driver training, and he only drives in like one scene in the film, because he didn't actually have a license at the time.
Really? See, I knew I had something in common with Moss Def.
There's special. They did most of the driving. There were a couple of cars that they built that had a second steering wheels, so that a hidden stunt driver could drive from either the passenger seat or the rear seat. I don't know which one. Whilst the actor was in the front.
Okay.
And then they had to build. This was before electric cars. They had to build 2 special electric versions. Because when they drive through the metro, they actually drive through the real metro stations and through the real metro tunnels. And the authorities wouldn't allow petrol-driven cars down there
because of possible explosions or something, or
fumes and shit like that.
Okay.
And so they had to build electric versions of the cars before electric versions of cars were really a thing. So they had multiple versions. Also, they fucked a load up.
Yeah, that's what when you said 30 times, that's what I assumed first.
Apparently, Charlize Theron was so good at the driving, she got in trouble driving home from shoots because she wouldn't slow down.
Okay, she's just gone up 1 point on my on my rating now.
The helicopter scene, when I saw it, I thought this is the dumbest, most CGI obvious moment of the entire film. It's not. It's 100% real.
Really?
They actually got a helicopter down there. Like they fudged some of it. It's all practical effects still. None of it's CGI. Like when the tail rotor hits the car, that's prop tail rotor. They wouldn't actually do it with real helicopter because it would blow the thing up. But the idea of the helicopter going under the underpass, it weaving and bobbing to stop him from leaving, 100% real.
That's amazing. I genuinely thought that was CGI.
Yeah. So did I. I thought it was the dumbest moment as well because of that. But then I found out, oh no, it's real. So you get props for that now.
Definitely.
That helicopter pilot,
he's ranking higher than Marky Mark now.
Right, now the main juice of this, the Edward Norton situation. When you watch this film, did you not think that it was slightly weird that Edward Norton was in it? He seems misplaced, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Well, he's out of place in this movie because he abjectly did not want to be in it.
Why? What? Why?
Right, so when he started out, his first film was Primal Fear, right?
Brilliant film.
Which that was a Paramount film, which this one is as well. Paramount took a risk on him and they signed him to a 3-film contract. You do this film for us, Primal Fear, and whether you're big or not,
you get to do 2 more.
You do 2 more films for us, but at cut rate. So that means if he becomes like an Oscar winner or like an award-winning person off the first film,
they can get a fantastic actor on the cheap.
They can get a fantastic actor for Taylor Kitsch money.
Yeah. Taylor Kitsch money. That was perfectly timed dig at Taylor. Brilliant. Mean and unnecessary, but perfect.
And Primal Fear, he did do well. He won a Golden Globe. He was Oscar nominated and BAFTA nominated for that film. Did very well, and now he's an A-lister straight away off his first film. And they're like, "Cool, Taylor Kitsch. We'll get him for 2 more." But he got final say whether or not he did films or not. Okay, they wouldn't force him to do a film, so they kept sending him offers.
But he has to at some point do 2 films for them because it's in the contract.
Yeah, that was the idea. So they kept sending him offers, and he kept saying no.
Because he wanted more money, obviously.
Because he was doing bigger films with other people. So basically, he was trying to ride it out. He was trying to see if he could time out the contract, maybe wait like 2 years or something like that. Anyway, years and years went by of him just saying, no, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. Send something else. When it got to Fight Club, he was up for Fight Club with that, which is 20th Century Fox. Yeah?
Yeah.
Basically, Paramount sent a cease and desist to 20th Century Fox saying, no, you can't have him. He's got to do this film for us. And 20th Century just went, look, we're not getting involved. You need to sort this out with them. Otherwise, we'll just go with someone else. And he really wanted Fight Club. So he went to Paramount, hashed it out with them, and managed to get like, instead of 2 films, I'll do 1 film for like $1 million or something. But still, I get final say. You can't force me to make something. So he makes Fight Club with 20th Century Fox. That's all green now. And Paramount keeps sending him stuff, and he still keeps saying, no, not doing it. No, I won't. No. And then finally, they just got pissed off and said, do this, or we'll sue you.
Fair enough.
I don't know why they decided to cash it in for this. I don't know what else they had on the slate, but they could have, I'm not saying this film is bad, but it's like you used it for this.
Yeah, which was a bit of a gamble, really, seeing as most of England might be pissed off in the first place that Italian Job's being remade.
You had a free Edward Norton ticket, and you decided to cash it in for the Italian Job. It seems odd. Anyway, he argued back saying, you said that you promised that you wouldn't force me to do something. And they just doubled down and saying, tough, you're doing this one.
He wasn't bad in the movie, though. He still did a pretty good job of his character.
He was very open about the fact that he didn't want to do it. He was a dick to literally everyone on set.
Oh, shit.
Clash with the director just for funsies. He has a reputation for being a bit of a diva anyway. But he went hell for leather on this. He was such a cunt to everyone. And
is that why he hasn't been in movies for a while?
he refused to do promotion for this. And if anyone interviewed him about it, he was just like, yeah, no, I didn't want to do it. I was forced to do it. When the film finally did quite well, because it did quite well, it was critical and commercial success. The producers sent gift baskets to all the main cast, including him, and he just sent it back with a note that said, give this to someone you actually like or someone who actually likes you.
Huh. I used to like Edward Norton. That's a bit dickish.
Apparently, he's always been a bit of a diva, and his attitude only got worse. When he was in the Incredible Hulk, right?
Yeah.
But he's not in the MCU. They had to replace him with Hollywood's nicest guy, Mark Ruffalo, because he was an absolute dick on set all the time and wouldn't play well with anyone. So the idea of bringing him into the MCU was just a no-go. So he just got replaced.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're going to need to be a slightly good team player to be in multiple films with actors.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to sign after the problems with him with Paramount, no one would go, let's sign this guy up for a 10-year movie deal.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Hey man, we've got the Avengers coming up. Will you be in it? No.
And to be fair, he wasn't a very good Hulk either.
I haven't actually seen the Incredible Hulk. People do count it as part of the MCU, but I don't. I skip over it every time.
I don't. I mean, they involved. I think in his one, the bad guy was Tim Roth as Abomination. They involved Abomination in the She-Hulk series. So I guess in that way it's kind of canon, but
yeah, General Ross as well is also the same guy as in the main
yeah.
MCU. So.
But I mean, like, but the Edward Norton as Bruce Banner, but he wasn't that great, to be honest. Mark Ruffalo did a way better job.
Yeah, agreed. I also believe that Tony Stark turns up in post-credit scene of Incredible Hulk.
Oh, I can't remember. Sorry, ages ago.
Yeah. He has a chat with General Ross. It's the only part of the film I've seen. It's on YouTube. But yeah, and that, dear sir, is The Italian Job. What score are you giving this?
I love this movie. It's so watchable.
Yeah,
and rewatchable. Like, I mean, it's not the most genius movie ever made. It's not. It's got a great soundtrack. I really like the cast, even though now I found out that Edward Norton's a bit of a dick. I really like the storyline. I genuinely really like heist movies. Usually, I love Ocean's 11, that kind of thing. Bit of a clever story. Yeah, it's really good. I love it. I give it a 8.5 to 9.
I'm going to go with the general consensus and say 7. I'm happy with 7. Yeah, I'm mostly there. Like, I like the fact that it comes. There's a bit in it in the middle where I hate it, and I'm like, don't do the mini in the house thing. And then it goes, no, we're not going to do that. Thank God. But you are dumb for thinking it would work in the first place.
Yeah, there is that. Okay, 8.5. But yeah, this is like such a rewatchable movie. There's some really great lines in it. A nice little bit of spattering of comedy that isn't too over the top, where they're just trying to be funny. It's good.
All right. Is there anything else to say about The Italian Job?
I wish there was more Italy in
it. Do I continue to? I'm going to find a different way to end these shows, because I always ask you, where do you want to be found, and you always go, don't find me.
Yeah. You can find it. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, I guess. But I don't think it's not necessarily that I don't want people to find me. It's more like I don't think people will want to find me. So if you want to find me, go ahead. I don't mind.
You can find me on. You can find. I don't know. You can. Where can I find me? I'm still trying to find me. You can find me online at The Badger's Apprentice or Badger's Apprentice. I can't remember which service had the in or not. We're on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. I think that's it. And we'll see you next week. Say goodbye, Carl.
Bye. Please find me. I'm so lonely.
Peace out, bitches.